Aloha everybody, and welcome to the July 26, 2020, 5 p.m. Hurricane Douglas advisory update for the Hawaii Hurricane Watch report. Still getting used to saying that one. I'm so accustomed to the Hawaii Volcano Watch. So anyways, we're just going to give it just a few minutes like last time to let people get the notification that the stream is live and join in before we start going over the information. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Everyone is joining in. That's okay, 8468 Ohio. It doesn't matter if you're in the Hawaiian Islands or elsewhere. If you're interested in the storm's progress and updates, you're more than welcome to join in. So we're going to go ahead and get started now. First image we're looking at here is the current satellite loop for Hurricane Douglas. And as you can see from the 2 p.m. advisory, it's actually traveled quite a bit of distance. It is now on the west side, well, at least the center of rotation is on the west side of the Maui Island and just moving north of Molokai. So let's go ahead and take a look at the actual public advisory and see what's changed in there. So as of July 26, 2020, 5 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, the National Weather Service and the Central Pacific Hurricane Center in Honolulu states that the location of the storm is now 22.0 degrees north, 157.3 degrees west, and is about 90 miles or 150 kilometers northwest of Kahului. I think I got that one right, Hawaii, and about 60 miles, 100 kilometers northeast of Honolulu. The maximum sustained winds are still clocking in at about 85 miles per hour, with 100, or that also being at 140 kilometers per hour, while present movement. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with my tongue today, people, but I've been struggling over these words all day long, so please bear with me. Present movement is west-northwest, or 295 degrees at 16 miles per hour, or 26 kilometers per hour. So there's been no decrease in the momentum of the storm. While the minimum central pressure is 989 millibars, 29.21 inches, and I have noticed over the last 24 hours we are noticing a increasing central pressure. That means the storm is slowly weakening, very slowly at this point. So slow at this point that it really isn't making much difference in the strength of the storm. The current changes with this advisory is the hurricane warning has been canceled for Maui County, including the islands of Maui, Lanai, Molokai, and I practiced this one, Kahu'ulave. No, Kahu'ulave. I think that's it. Summary of the watches and warnings is a hurricane warning is still in effect for Oahu and Kauai County, including the islands of Kauai and Niihau. A tropical storm warning is still in effect for portions of the Marine National Monument, and a tropical storm watch is in effect for that area as well. A hurricane warning means that hurricane conditions are expected somewhere within the warning area, in this case within the next 18 hours. A tropical storm warning means that tropical storm conditions are expected somewhere within the warning area, and in this particular case, within the next 36 hours. And finally, a tropical storm watch means that tropical storm conditions are possible within the watch area, in this case, the next 36 to 48 hours. General overlook and discussion is that at 5 p.m., so for those that are just joining, we're fixing to kind of repeat the information just a little bit. At 5 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, the center of Hurricane Douglas was located near latitude 22.0 north, longitude 157.3 west, and Douglas is moving towards the west-northwest, so more of a westerly track on it. At near 16 miles per hour or 26 kilometers per hour, and this motion is expected to continue over the next couple days. On the forecast track, Douglas will pass near Oahu and Kauai tonight, with maximum sustained winds. Maximum sustained winds are still near 85 miles an hour or 140 kilometers per hour, with higher gusts still possible. A gradual weakening is still forecasted during the next 48 hours, but Douglas is expected to remain a hurricane as it moves near the islands overnight. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 40 miles an hour or 65 kilometers from the center of rotation, and the tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 115 miles an hour or 185 kilometers from the center. So the 40 mile an hour hurricane, or the 40 mile range on the hurricane force winds has actually bumped up from the last report from 35 to 40. That could be because of the way the storm is kind of stretched out on its center of rotation, which we'll get to looking at that in just a bit. Hazards affecting the land currently. Hurricane conditions are expected across portions of Oahu this evening and on Kauai tonight. Due to the steep terrain of the islands, localized strong wind gusts are expected. So if you're in areas that are prone to strong wind gusts, you should be a little prepared for the potential possibility of very strong and potentially damaging wind gusts. Surf, as for large swells, will be generated by Douglas and will affect the Hawaiian Islands tonight, producing life-threatening and potentially damaging surf along exposed shores, with storm surge of up to 2 feet is possible. Surf will decline on Monday. Rainfall. Heavy rainfall associated with Douglas is expected to affect portions of the main Hawaiian Islands tonight and into Monday. Total rain accumulations of 3 to 6 inches with locally higher amounts are possible, with the greatest rainfall in elevated terrain. This rain may result in flash flooding and landslides, as well as rapid water level rises on small streams. So if you live around any type of bodies of water or in areas that are prone to flash flooding or landslide areas, you should also be on the lookout and be prepared for such an event. Okay, that looks like all the changes and updates into the 5 p.m. advisory. So let's now go take a look at the warning cone and see if there's been any changes there. Okay, this gives a good idea. So as we can see by the current position at 5 p.m. Where the hurricane is right here and the future track, we can see that the Big Island and Molokai, Lanai, and Maui are pretty much out of the weather now. So I would say that these areas currently do not have very much to worry about from the storm at this point forward. However, Oahu and Kauai are still having to contend with the potential effects of this storm. And that will be transpiring throughout the evening and into the early morning hours, it does look like. But I would say come Monday morning or tomorrow morning, pretty much Kauai should have seen the worst of what they're going to see. So let's go now take a look at some of the radar images. Actually, let's go back to this one, because there's something very interesting here I want to show you. So let me reset my graphics a little bit so I can find what I'm looking for. I believe it is this one that I am wanting. Yes, it is actually. Okay, and we're going to adjust just a little bit so we can keep the storm and I can get my buttons in there. Okay, earlier in the 2 p.m. Advisory, I was talking about the storm and its rotation and how it was affecting the land masses here. And this is pretty much kind of what it looked like at the 5 p.m. mark. or excuse me, the 2 p.m. mark. Excuse me. And we see all this energy over the islands, but they're really not producing very much rain or anything like that. We can see right here, this is the current rain radar images, and we can see still all the majority of the rain is staying way offshore from pretty much all the islands that that's being covered by cloud cover and the convection currents, which are higher up in the atmosphere. So going ahead and stepping through this loop, we see here a new convection, upswelling of convection occurring on the storm, and right here looks like pretty much the center of rotation, and that convection wraps around that rotation, and it kind of looks like we may have had an eye relocation on the storm. They can do that sometimes. They get a little disorganized and the eye will jump. The center of rotation will actually jump, and we'll see a new eye, which makes it look like the storm moved quite a bit, but it actually didn't. That can happen from time to time, but we're seeing that convection upswell here. But when we look at the radar, we don't see it necessarily producing a whole bunch of rain. So we don't see it producing really a whole bunch of rain on that side of the storm, even though a lot of that energy is there. So it looks like at this point, this event is wrapping itself up to a certain extent for half of the state, while Oahu and Kauai are still on alert. But it's looking, based on the information that I'm seeing here, that Oahu pretty much doesn't have much to worry about. I've even had a few comments stating that they're not even seeing any rain, and they've still got blue skies in some areas and things of that nature, which is pretty much what we experienced here. And I'm sure Maui and Molokai and the other islands in between Oahu and us have probably experienced very similar weather. Sorry, I got distracted by the comments. I'm over here looking. No rain on Oahu and Honolulu right now from the Hawaiian redneck. Yeah, that's what we're seeing on radar. Here's Oahu right here. Honolulu is on the south side. And so there are some bands. You see that one pass through right there. Nice line right there. Pass through. And that's pretty much, I think, all that Oahu is going to see from this event right now is these bands, very small bands of rain, very small isolated storms, in those bands. So it's going to be one of those situations where, every 30, 45 minutes, you're probably going to get a little rain shower, and it won't last, but maybe 2-3 minutes, if maybe a little bit more. I don't really foresee any super rain event. So far, half the state has missed this event. We haven't had rain, we haven't had wind, we haven't had any of the things that was potentially forecasted, which is absolutely a good thing. Don't get me wrong, but I am a fan of severe weather. I just love watching its dynamics and how it evolves and stuff. I don't like the damage or things like that is caused by it. Of course, nobody does, but the phenomena itself is absolutely fascinating. And the Hawaiian redneck just subscribed to the channel. Mahalo. Welcome to the Ohana. If you so obviously you're new to the channel, you need to go check out some of my videos from the eruption. It's just absolutely amazing. So yeah, I guess that pretty much covers it for the 5 p.m. advisory. There is really just not that much that has changed since the 2 p.m. The storm is staying offshore of most of the island areas, and we can see by the radar that all the rain and wind energy looks to be on the northern side of the storm, and as it wraps around to the southern quadrant, it is just breaking up. I believe the islands are having that effect. Like I said, land interaction with these storms, and since our islands have elevated topology, on them. That is going to affect higher level wind currents, which can disrupt these storms. And it's been quite evident with this one, especially when it was down around the Big Island. I was very impressed with watching some of the rain bands, or come around and hit up against the slopes of Mauna Kea, and just literally get blocked. And then we saw that pressure buffer that caused the backup of all the energy onto the west-north area or quadrant of the storm. And that was just fantastic to watch. And locally, it just didn't do anything. So, okay, that's it for the general update. If you have any questions, put them in the live chat so I can take a look and be more than happy to answer those if I can. Aza is asking, still Cat 1, I think. I guess that's a question. Yes, it is still considered a Category 1 with 85-mile-an-hour winds. But it is apparently weakening as time goes by. However, it is still over warmer water that is surrounding the islands. So actually, let's go take a look at that, shall we? We didn't look at the surface temperatures. Where are they? Upper air, surface charts. That's not what I'm wanting, is it? Ooh. That is not what I was wanting. Okay, let's see where we are here. Okay, we are down here. This is the hurricane. This is the high pressure ridge. Okay, it looks like that high pressure that was breaking off kind of did break off, and it kind of pushed and shifted. So that means we still continue to have this high pressure ridge, which is going to force the storm more towards the west versus the north. But I don't think that's going to make too big of a difference for Kauai at this point. But we still got to kind of wait and see a little bit. We'll know by the 11 p.m. what exactly is going to happen with Kauai. And I hate to say it like that, but that's pretty much what we have to do sometimes. And oh, there it is. I don't know how I missed it the first time. Okay, here's our temperature. Of course, these bands are measured in Celsius. So we got 28 degrees Celsius water here, which is surrounding the islands, with a plume of cooler 26 degrees. So between 27 and 28 degrees right now is where the hurricane, I'd say probably more around the 27 degree mark, over 27 Celsius water, which is warm water for a hurricane, which is why I think we're seeing it continue to be able to produce lots of rain. But again, it's all there on the north side. Aza, it's just far enough to avoid heavy impact on Oahu. Yes, actually. However, if the rain bands were continuing to wrap around, in a uniformed spiral like it was doing before it approached the islands, then Oahu would be getting hammered with a lot of wind and rain for sure. We all would have. But the islands do seem to be acting as a little bit of a buffer, kind of just keeping it just slightly offshore, so it's not too big of an impact, which is good. So yeah, it seems like everybody over on Oahu that's been watching are reporting in and telling us that they've had some rain and a little gust periodically, but nothing of any true significance, which that is very, very good. Love Nature Girl says, looks like it is in the path towards Kauai. Yeah, according to the cone, it's going to skirt the north shore of Kauai. But looking at the radar and the rain radar and its movement, it's still more that northwest, direction, a little bit more towards the westerly versus north, west northwest, I guess, in that respect. But looking at some of the satellite radar loops, this one is actually a little deceiving because you see all this red. You see all this red here, and that doesn't necessarily indicate, rain and wind and stuff. That's basically just the cloud top thicknesses and the density of the storm. But you see how it's affecting Oahu right now. I think Kauai is going to be pretty much getting the same thing, because we're moving pretty much parallel to the islands right now. And as long as it continues that and doesn't turn more to the west, Kauai is probably going to be good to go as well. But we're going to have to wait a little while, a couple more hours, to see for sure. I'm concerned about the high pressure ridge causing it to drift more towards the west. So if it can just get a little further north before it gets too close to Kauai, even if it did make that westerly turn, which I suspect it to do just pretty much as it starts getting to the north east of the Kauai Island, as when I expect the storm to kind of start making that westerly turn, because I really think the island chain is preventing a lot of that movement towards the west at this point. Again, it's all just my opinion, but that's what I'm seeing in the data and being able to interpret as well. So, got any other questions? Let's see. Let me go through the list. Nope. Doesn't look like we have a It looks like we have any other questions. So that's either everyone's questions that have already been answered, or I've done a superb job in providing the information that it hasn't led to any questions. Either way, I think that's a win for us all, and definitely a win for the Hawaii Islands. So I guess we're going to be cutting this stream a little on the short. There's no more information to provide at this time. I will be doing a 11 p.m. Advisory update, and I may do a 11 a.m. for tomorrow or 2 p.m. for tomorrow, just to cover anything that may have happened or is currently happening with the hurricane and Kauai. That will all be determined by tonight's 11 p.m. advisory. So this could potentially be the last episode of the hurricane or Hawaii Hurricane Watch Report for Hurricane Douglas. If any more hurricanes form and become a potential threat for the Hawaiian Islands, I will of course reactivate the Hawaii Hurricane Report and start doing the advisories as necessitated by the development of events of potentially future storms. So, mahalo everybody. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you watching these updates and allowing me to help explain what's going on, why it's happening, and how it's happening. If you want to help support the channel, I've provided a few ways for you to do that. Because of all this COVID stuff, we're all kind of in the same boat, meaning I've basically been put out of work, and if it's not for the income being generated by YouTube ad revenues and the merch sales, I mean, I've sold, I think now 150, 160 of the face masks. So mahalo to every last one of you that's purchased those. That definitely helps, the income situation here in doing Hawaii. So if you do want to help support the channel, that's what you can do. You can subscribe, click that bell icon and select all notifications so you don't miss any updates or any videos or premieres that I do. You can check out my merch, and if you see something you like, a purchase there definitely helps support the channel and keep the content coming. You can also, if you're not interested in the merch but still want to help support the channel, there is a donation link. You can send a one-time or an occurring Aloha donation to help show your appreciation and support for the channel. And any little amount, whether it be $1 or $10 or $20, is irrelevant. It's the thought that counts, and any amount goes towards the same goals. So, and those goals, if you may be asking, gas for the green machine to get to the locations, memory cards, cameras, microphones, software, because as we all know, we live in the technological age, and this stuff is constantly changing, and none of it is super cheap. So Christine Moore is asking, are we still in an alert in Oahu? Yes, there is still a hurricane warning, I believe, posted for Oahu, but let me go find where'd it go? Here it is. I just want to make sure. Yes, a hurricane warning is in effect for Oahu, Kauai County, including the islands of Kauai and Niihau. See, I'm getting it. So to answer your answer, Christine, yes, there is. And of course, I just want to send a special thank you to all my mods out there, the ones that join us for the daily the daily advisories, and the ones that join for the 11 p.m. ones as well. That would be Jan and Karen, which I don't believe they're here right now. If they are and they're looking, aloha y'all, and mahalo for your mod assistance. It is absolutely, y'all are absolutely brilliant in what y'all do and how y'all do it. So anyways, again, check out the merch. I got the new hot lava, the super hot lava face, which is a nice one. But I have multiple designs, hopefully a little bit of something for everyone. The hibiscus, donkey trails, petroglyphs, the original lava face. We got the Joker smile, we've got an emoji mouth, etc. But I also have a bunch of other stuff available with different other designs, photographs from the eruption, other graphics that I've designed as well. And I do have a new product coming. I was going to launch it during the report, but I thought, no, I want to launch that separately. So go check out my Facebook page. Don't forget the community tab here on YouTube, because it will be posted there and it will be posted to Facebook. And that will be happening very shortly after I end this live stream. So make sure you follow me over on Facebook so you don't miss that one. Okay, I think that will do it, everybody. I don't see any more questions that have come in while I was running my mouth. So we are going to say mahalo for watching. I do appreciate your support, and if you have any questions after viewing this video, people that come in on the replay, put them down in the comments. I'll try to answer the best I can. So mahalo for watching, and you have an absolutely amazing morning, afternoon, or evening.